listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the most listened to daily Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet.
Miami's got the Dolphins, the greatest of all.
Come on, Dolphins fans. Time to fins up.
We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking to my ball. 'Cause we're the Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number one. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number one.
Hello, Miami Dolphins fans. How are you today? And thank you for listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast on this Sunday, June the 15th. Happy Father's Day. I am your host, Michael Leva, joined by our returning champion. You love her. You've missed her, Marissa Marino. Marissa, how are you today?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much for having me back. I even saw in the intro, my picture's still there. I was like,
yes.
Okay, picking up where
Yes.
we left off.
We have to update the intro. There's a few players who either won't be here soon, who are
Yeah.
either already gone, but I'm waiting till like training camps. We play a few preseason games, so maybe I can get some shots of Grant, Savanea, obviously Chop Robinson I can add to this year. So I am going to update that. Your picture will still be staying there, obviously, part of the team. But yeah, I do have to update the intro, but that's probably come in August. But yes, and it's Father's Day for all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day. Marissa, would you like to send a message to your father?
I would. Stephen Marino, my lovely father, I just want to say happy Father's Day to you. I would not be sitting here right now doing this podcast with Dolphins Talk if it wasn't for my dad. He embraced me and football at an early age and truly taught me everything that I know. I love him so much and hope he is having the best Father's Day. So love you, Dad.
Happy Father's Day, Mr. Marino. No, not that Marino, the other Marino. The other Marino. But yes, everyone out there, hope you're having a great day. A few things here. Let's get it right off the top. Let's get rid of some of the business stuff off the top. If you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor right now at the top of the show. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching us live on YouTube, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Also, a shout out to the sponsor of today's show, Caneswear. Everyone go to the website, caneswear.com. for the best and most affordable Miami Dolphins apparel on the internet. They have hats, hoodies, t-shirts, polos, shorts, stuff for the home and office, stuff for your car with the Miami Dolphins logo on it. And soon, if the Florida Panthers win one more game, they're going to have all of your Florida Panthers Stanley Cup Championship stuff too. You're going to want to check them out for that. If you're in South Florida, stop by their shop at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. And they got stuff for the Heat, the Hurricanes, the Marlins, and they got it all. Caneswear.com. Caneswear.com. Also, we do have a new sponsor on the show as well. Want to give them a brief shout out. If you are into sports gambling, I want you to go to Bet Online. That's right. Go to Bet Online. If you sign up, new person, you can get up to $250 in free bets and plus 100 free spins, depending on which games you play. BetOnline.com. I am going to put actually a link in the comments that you can use directly. If you're watching on YouTube, and I have links up on our social media, check out Bet Online as well. Okay, let me get the graphic off the screen now, and we can begin. All right, Marissa, long time no see, and we're getting to that point. We're about a month or so away to training camp here for the Dolphins, and we got the OTAs are over, mini camps over. Good time to take a step back and reassess and see where things are with the Dolphins here from sort of a like 1,000 yards away view. Not into like we got to fix a cornerback, we got to fix the secondary. Like where are we as an organization? And we're going to talk a little bit about that stuff today. First thing I want to talk about is a topic that was a hot issue this week in camp about the Miami Dolphins culture. There's been a lot of talk about the culture with the Dolphins. And the view I've always had when it comes to the culture is this. Only teams that are bad talk culture. Because if you're winning games, you're talking about winning games. You're talking about we got to win the division. We got to beat the, if you're a team like the Bills, we got to beat the Chiefs to get to a Super Bowl. Like they're not talking about culture. But when you're a team that's talking about culture, you're essentially trying to sell hope to your fans. Like, we're not going to win a lot of games. But even though we're losing, we're building a culture. So stick with us. that's what I always view that as when it comes to culture and the conversation. There was a lot discussed this week. What are some of your thoughts on the culture of the Dolphins, Marissa?
Yes. Now, I will say the Heat really backed up Heat culture for a really long time, but that was basketball. And so I do understand the difference. But
And they also had Hall of Fame players in Wade and LeBron and
granted, yes. And in a really amazing coach. So, in Eric Spoelstra. So, to me, I mean, I think the first thing this culture shift started with the interview with Mike McDaniel. And all of a sudden now he's cussing in press conferences and, not answering questions about players and preaching accountability and physical toughness. But for me, it's kind of like talk is cheap. I'll believe it when I see it, right? I mean, we've had ex-players talk about the softness of this football team. So I think it's great that they're having a culture shift and there's a different mindset in the locker room. I don't know why that mindset wasn't there last year, but apparently it's there this year. I think they're also preaching this, and I think Mike McDaniel is switching it up just a little bit because I believe he knows that his ASS might be in the hot seat depending on how this week goes down. So, not this week, I'm sorry, this season goes down. So, I think it's great. I would love to have a football team that comes out with grit. But again, I'm going to need to see it to believe it, Mike.
Yeah, 100%. And you kind of said it best, like when they said like this year, like now we're serious about the culture. And I know Chubb this week said a comment, which kind of rubbed me the wrong way. He goes, well, we were lying last year. We were lying. Well, two things. One, not funny. And two, once a liar, always a liar. So why do I know that you're telling the truth now? I mean, that's the way I took it. Like, okay, you're being honest. You admit you lied last year about the culture, saying that not just him, the whole team was like taking it seriously when they weren't. Well, how can I take you serious now when you just admitted you lied? It's like, Marissa, you're with a guy who lies to you once. Can you ever really trust him in full again? No, you can't. Let's just call it what it is. No, not fully. So
I'm like, you remember that one time? Yeah, we're gonna go back to that.
Exactly. So there's that, and talking about the cult, like, what is the Miami Dolphins like? What do people know about like? If you ask a fan now, the Dolphins in Nevada, in Wisconsin, in Iowa, what are the Dolphins? They're gonna say can't win in the cold, can't beat any teams that are good. And they're kind of a finesse team. Like, that's all true. Like, and then you go to the player aspect of it, which Chubb sort of touched down. Let's just call it what it is. Tyreek Hill don't give a flying F about anything but himself. Ramsey, he threw a tantrum and now he's going to get sent out of here. Like, there's no leadership in this. So the culture issue goes beyond, like, there's many tentacles of it. There's the aspect with the players. There's the aspect with the coaches. There's the aspect with the front office. And it seems like, Mike McDaniel, like you said, he's, swearing and all this stuff now. God, I want to like Mike so bad. It's not that I don't like him. It's just, I don't know if he's cut out to be a head coach in this league. Yeah. I know year 1 and 2, I know there's a lot of fans right now, but he made the playoffs year 1 and 2. Yeah. And they lost. And then last year he didn't. So let's not, crown Mike McDaniel as like the next Don Shula. He's not. He's anything but. And I don't know if he's a guy who is a head coach in this league. But there's been times in this offseason, and, it's just small things that just kind of drive you nuts sometimes, or at least me. I can only speak for me. Where, they go, hey, Mike, Tyreek Hill is going to have a race against Noah Lyles, the guy from the Olympics. And Mike goes, well, I don't know nothing about that. Mike, you're the goddamn head coach. You should know something about that. That's a $30 million wide receiver. Feigning ignorance on that makes you look really, really bad.
Yeah, what if he hurts himself in this? I mean,
just had 2 wrist surgeries too. Exactly. Yeah. Like Mike McDaniel just saying, well, I don't know nothing about that. Even if he does, and that's his answer, you look stupid. If you don't know anything about it, you look stupid. It's like, you can't be that guy. You got to be like, I'm not saying you got to throw him under the bus. You got to be like, yeah, I heard something about that. I better have a talk with him. I just want to make sure, just give an honest answer. Just don't know nothing. Come off as clueless Mike. It's like, that's where I think a lot of it is, from fans, at least not all fans, 'cause I know some fans are very casual. They just want to sit back, watch your team play on Sunday and win. But the fans like us, fans who listen to this show, fans who follow this day to day, 365 days a year, it's like, you got to be better than that. Like, you just got to be better on all levels as an organization, because now when you're talking culture in June, it's like, you shouldn't be talking culture in June. The culture should be something that's sort of set day one when a head coach is hired, not something you shift at the start of year 4.
I do have a question for you, Mike, real
Oh,
quickly.
okay. Yeah.
So, do you think that we talked about him possibly, not being a head coach? Do you think he's in the right bus but the wrong seat? Could you see him not being a head coach for this team? Could you see him being better suited in an offensive coordinator role, in some other role on this team? Or do you think maybe he's just not on the right bus completely with the Miami Dolphins?
I've often said this. I'm not sure. Well, let me say it like this. I don't think Mike McDaniels is going to have ultimate success right now as head coach of the Dolphins. And now, if he loses his job here and becomes an assistant somewhere and gets a second chance at being head coach, he might have a lot of success in the second job if he's able to learn from his mistakes, which from year to year with the Dolphins, he clearly hasn't. But if he becomes a quarterbacks coach for a few years, then in 2029 he becomes a head coach of like whatever team. Oh, he might be great then.
Right.
But I think right now we've seen, like, he can't win challenges, he can't get plays in on time. That's why I'm even hesitant to say he'd be a great offensive coordinator, because I think if you make him an offensive coordinator for a team, I'm not so sure he get the plays in time. I just think I don't know. I mean, he's obviously a bright guy and he can draw up amazing plays. And I think as a play caller, it's not that bad. I mean, yes, there are some things on 3rd and 1 where he'll throw the ball sideways when you're running for 6 yards of carry, just turn and hand off, make them prove they can. Okay, but I think he'd be fine as an offensive coordinator at the end of the day. But right now, today, I don't know if he's head coach material, and it's unfortunate because I think years 1, 2, even year 3, we saw a guy who this might be the next guy, the next young, bright head coach who might go, okay, everyone has some missteps along the way, but it seems like he hasn't corrected those missteps. It's the same mistakes year after year. That's the frustrating part, I think, at least for me.
Sure.
Yeah. And that kind of leads into this next question, or next topic, I should say, is the state of the Miami Dolphins organization. We know about the culture we just spoke about, but overall, where are we going? It's like, it's 2025. We haven't won a playoff game in over 25 years. Our general manager's been here forever, never put together a winning project on the field. The head coach doesn't seem to be improving each year. It's either status quo or getting worse. The quarterback, which we're going to talk about soon, does Stephen Ross care about the Dolphins? I know, the people who follow the team. Of course he does. Well, he's got a funny way of showing it. He never talks to the press. He continues to employ the same people who fail at their jobs year after year. This offseason, they spent no money to fix the team. And I know the answer is going to be, well, they're trying to reset the cap and trying to get the cap situation cleaned up. How come that never happens in Green Bay, Pittsburgh, San Francisco? Like, they're able to not have to take a year off to fix the cap. They can adapt on the fly. They don't have to have a tank year to sort of clean up the cap. They can, okay, we're going to lose a couple guys. We're also going to sign a couple guys, and we're still going to try and make the playoffs and win. Not that they're not going to try this year. It's just they've lost a lot of guys, and they didn't replace many of them. It's like, what's the state of this organization overall? And I don't know. I think that's where a lot of frustration comes to, Marissa.
I completely agree. I'm going to start with the negative, and then I'm going to put in a little positivity at the end so we can end with something decent in our palate.
I have a topic in the middle of the show in case they got too negative. I'm 3 positive things we're looking for. But yes, throw some in now. Sprinkle some in.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to do it at the end so that we can end on a good note. So for me, it's how can the Dolphins go in the right direction when nothing changes if nothing changes, right? You have a owner of a team who is very much more concerned with his Formula One racing and the way his image and the way he looks, and not necessarily winning football games. You've already touched base on it, but we have Chris Greer, who has been with the organization now for 25 years. So I was a little teenager when he started with us, and granted, no playoff wins since he's been in that. So I don't expect much to change when we have the same people across the board running things. I think also too, are we headed in the right direction for this season specifically? I'm just still seeing some huge gaps in areas that are just not being addressed. As we all know, huge gaps in our cornerback room. Kendall Fuller release, the rookies still have to prove their worth. All this Cam Smith, isn't he stuff like going on? Like, where are we as a football team? Like, it doesn't feel like it's well rounded and ready to go into this season. Offensive line still a huge issue and concern of mine. Now, I will say there's some positives in going in the right direction. I do think they've plugged a few outlets that we need. So if we're talking about where are we going as far as like in the right direction this season, drafting a defensive tackle like Kenneth Grant, great move. Drafting an offensive guard like Jonah, I'm going to try to not butcher this, Savignaya.
Close enough.
Yes, something like that. So those do address some concerns. We also now have Quinn and Wilson in the building as backup quarterbacks. Now, does that address our backup quarterback needs? I don't know. Could be to be determined at this point. And they have made some changes. Last year, we were the team with the highest average NFL age player. So they have gotten rid of some of those guys. Now, some of them we might not have been happy with, but are they like shifting to this youth perspective maybe? I don't know. I mean, Armstead chose to retire, but they're trying to get rid of Jonnu Smith, the Ramsey trade. Like, are they trying to fake Poyer's gone? So maybe they're shifting to a younger football team. I don't know. Are they headed in the right direction? I think when you still have the two main guys in the front office, I don't know that direction can really change.
Yeah, I agree. It's the same vision. It's the same stuff we've kind of seen before. Just seems like they are hitting like a little bit of a pause year or a reset year where, of course, they're going to try and win. It's not that they're trying to lose, but, they're not also out there, spending money on guys. Like, as I've said for weeks on this show, when you get to June into July, right before training camp, teams are out there looking to sign the last piece. Oh, we got a hole here. Let's sign a guy to fill that hole. Oh, we got one hole here we got to fill. We're creating holes. We're going to trade Jonnu Smith, no tight ends behind him who are truly that good. We're going to trade Ramsey for all the reasons we know why to create another glaring hole in the secondary. It's like we're creating holes in June and July while other teams are like plugging their final hole or two on the roster to get ready. We're like, nah, we're not worried about that. But we're going to tell you how great Cam Smith is when for 2 years he's been, dog shit. Let's just call it what it is. He hasn't played well. And so it's like, that's why it's tough to take him seriously a lot of times when whoever it is, Greer or McDaniels at a press conference saying the stuff's like, yeah, lip service, heard it before. So that's why the state of, and then when it comes to Ross, it's like, I know he's an older man. And I know, he spends a lot of money, and I know for some fans, that's all they want.
Yeah.
And I don't want him to be one of those owners who's like meddling in everything, but I also don't want
like a Jerry Jones. Either. You're not looking for him.
I kind of wish we did have Jerry Jones at some level because he actually cares too much.
Yeah.
But we got like Weekend at Bernie's where it's like, where is this guy? Is he here? It's like what's going on? And maybe he needs to be more involved. To be like, no, this is not acceptable. I'm not going to do this. And, I'm sure those conversations might be taking place behind the scenes. But again, if you don't talk to the media, no one knows it. So I can't give you the benefit of the doubt when you never win. Yeah. That's the unfortunate thing. Like, I'm not even saying win a Super Bowl. I've kind of made my peace and I'll never see it in my lifetime. Like, can we win a playoff game?
Right.
Can we win the division? I don't know. Just small things.
And, there's someone in the chat who said we are super negative. And
tell me what to be positive about. It's been 25 years.
That's the thing. Like, I think that I don't know that I love going on a podcast where they just feed me sunshine and rainbows. Like, and what I want to hear. Like, this is the reality of the state of this Miami Dolphins football team. Now, do I hope that the culture change is real? Of course, I'm a fan. I want it to be real. Do I hope that this team is headed in the right direction? Absolutely. But I can only go based off of what I am seeing right now. And I can't sugarcoat it for everybody. Like,
And
you
if they
guys
want
would know I'm lying.
Yeah. If they want the positivity, go back. All of our shows are archived. Listen to the shows 2 years ago when we were 8-3. These shows were nothing but positive. Then
Yeah.
they collapsed. Go back, listen to the shows in 2023 when we were 9-3. It was nothing but positive then. Okay. It's very simple how this works here with this podcast, at least for the past 10 years. When things are good, we say things are good. If they're bad, we say things are bad. If I walk outside and it's raining, it's raining. I'm not going to say it's all sunshine if it's raining. It's not that simple. And I know a lot of fans just want to be told everything's great.
Yeah.
And I believe this, so tell me what I believe is right. That's not us. That's not, it never will be. There's other shows for you who will tell you why a 5th-round pick that no one heard of is going to be great. And then when the guy plays 4 snaps this year, you go, oh, why didn't he play? Because he's a 5th-round pick and he stinks. And they lie to you to pump up your hopes when there's a reality to this. Yeah, and here, Jordan Murray, this is a great comment here in our chat. Hold on. Mike, you have to explain to the millennial what Weekend at Bernie is. Weekend at Bernie's is a great movie from the 80s where this rich guy named Bernie dies. And these 2 young kids, they just take the body from party to, and they use like all of his money to throw crazy parties, and they drag around the body everywhere like he's still alive. And they put on sunglasses and they go, "Hey, Bernie, what's up?" And they take his hand and go like this, like he's fine. Watch Weekend at Bernie's if you don't know.
Wait, I'm a millennial and I have seen that movie, and it is fantastic. So I can vouch for one millennial at least that
yes,
I've
it's
seen
a great movie. Not the sequel so much because it's whatever. The first one is great.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get to the rest of the show, quick shout out to everyone listening at finheaven.com. Everyone go to finheaven.com, the largest Miami Dolphins message board. I'm laughing because the comment, Bernie was dead weight, literally. Yes, he was. Cap. Yes, he was dead weight. A shout out to everyone listening at the I Am a Miami Dolphins Fan Facebook page run by the great, talented Carlos Hernandez. If you're on Facebook, please be sure you are a part of that page. And wherever you're listening on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Podbean, Podchaser. Subscribe. Excuse me. Now, let's talk some positivity because I knew those first 2 topics was going to run some people the wrong way.
Yeah, let's do it.
3 positive things you're looking forward to this training camp and this season. I guess let's just say this season. I'll go first because I sort of sprung this on you. I didn't give you time to prepare.
You have sprung this on me, so
I know. Number 1. For me, is our draft picks in rounds 1 and 2, Kenneth Grant and Jonah Savanea, or Savanea, however you pronounce it. I think those 2 guys obviously are going to start day 1 because we have nobody else really. And I think there's a chance they both could be really good. So I'm very much looking forward to Grant and Savanea picks in rounds 1 and 2 because I think those guys, I mean, they're essentially here to refill and replace the roles of Wilkins and Hunt. Probably 1 year too late, but again, it goes back to the GM. But I want to see Grant and 7A. I think they got a chance to be really good. Number 2, the Dolphins linebacker group. I think this linebacker group's got a chance to be really, really good, especially on that side of the ball. I mean, we know that the secondary is probably going to be pretty bad. Up front, you got Zach Sealer and a bunch of rookies. Zach, we know is great, but the rookies, we hope. But that linebacker group of Jordan Brooks, Tyler Dotson, KJ Britt from Tampa, who they signed, was pretty good. Willie Gay with the Chiefs and the Saints, who's pretty good. That's a pretty good linebacker group. That's a very good linebacker group, actually. There's no like superstar in that group, but I'm very much interested to see how they play because I got a feeling that's going to be a group that's can make a lot of plays this year, and they're probably going to have to make a lot of plays this year. So that's number 2. And the last one, I want to see Chop Robinson become a borderline 10 sack a year guy. I think he can be, if it's 8 or 9, close enough to me, be that 8, 9, 10 sack a year guy each year. And I think last year was a great rookie season for Chop. And I'm very much looking forward to see him take a leap in year 2, get a few more sacks, become a full-time starter and be that, 8, 9, 10 sack a year guy. And if it's more, great. But I think that is kind of where I think he can be as the pass rusher on this team. So those are 3 things I'm looking forward to, very hopeful for, and very positive about with this team, regardless of how many games they win in 2025.
Well, you took my last one from me. That's why I
That's
made
okay.
it.
You can use it too.
That's why I made a face, because Chop Robinson was in the finals for Defensive Rookie of the Year last year, and I am just waiting to see what he has in store for us this season. But I can switch to another rookie that I'm really excited about with the exit of Armstead, Patrick Paul. I'm very interested to see how this year pans out for him. I have not like the high. It's full like rookie year, but like, beyond Armstead being gone. But I'm very curious to see what that looks like. Somebody mentioned in the comments the running back room, and not gonna lie, with Jalen Wright and with Devon Achane, who, if he can stay healthy, I think, just seeing how our running back core and how we utilize it to pick up first downs and maybe have a few more of those this season. Really looking forward to that. I'd have to also say, this is going to be the second year of the defense under defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver. And last year he did have us, doing pretty well defensively in the rankings. So I'm curious to see how he adjusts from last year to this year. He has the exit of players, continuance of some players, getting Bradley Chubb back, Jalen Phillips. So I'm really curious to see how he does, because he's somebody who I didn't know if he was going to be with us this year. I thought maybe he was going into a head coach position somewhere else. So
you almost got one with the Saints. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to him. So I think those would be my three. And they all seem to be like, besides Devon Achane, like all newer pieces of the puzzle to this Miami Dolphins team, and seeing how they really start to work themselves out after kind of a year of getting their feet wet. So
yeah. So I know, like, as we talk about, this year, if it's a reset, a pause, they didn't invest, and they have a bunch of holes. Like, there are positive things here to build upon.
Yeah.
And I know Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated, longtime NFL insider, has been doing this forever. Albert Breer, he did a show like a week or two ago. It's probably 2 weeks now. And he goes, look, if this team does take a step back, they only win 5 or 6 games. But at the end of the year, Chop Robinson is that like 10-sack guy. Mm-hmm. Patrick Paul is your left tackle of the future. He proves he can fill in for Armstead. He's a great player there. If Waddle proves he can be a true number one, so they can move on from Hill after this year like everyone wants to. And if Grant can be that guy to anchor the middle of that line for years to come. Yeah, you had a bad year this year, but the pieces are there to where you can turn this around quick in 2026, 2027. Yeah, you got to find a quarterback. Yeah, you'll probably have to find a new head coach. Like, yeah, you'll have to go through those steps, obviously, but there will be key pieces there at edge rusher, left tackle, nose tackle, wide receiver, which are the tougher spots to kind of fill on a team to move forward. So he goes, of course you want to see like your team, if you're a fan, win, but also if those key spots, like you mentioned with Paul and Chop and Grant, like if those guys play well and they only win 5 or 6 games, the future's somewhat bright as long as they make the pivot at like GM, coach, quarterback, which who knows if they will. But yeah, so there is like two sides to the coin here with some of this stuff. It's not all negative and doom and gloom, but because there can be little victories here for the bigger picture moving forward.
I like it.
Okay.
Positivity for all of you out there who need a little dose of it.
Yeah, we're gonna pivot from that to talking about everyone's favorite topic, which is a topic we really don't talk a lot about here on this podcast. We're gonna talk Tua.
Yeah.
And because I know this week, I mean, you can pick like most weeks, but I know this week, for those of you that are very active on the social media channels, another Tua debate popped up, and it's like the same people entrenched in the same sides. He's great. He sucks. He's great. He sucks. It's like
it's Groundhog's Day, literally.
It's Groundhog's Day. And we don't talk about it a lot here, but we're going to talk about it. And I think I might do a little rant on this.
And now it's time for another one of Mike's rants.
All right, just give me a second here, Marissa, before I let you go. Here's the deal. I don't even know what the argument is anymore over Tua. He is who he is. He's going into year 6. Nothing has changed. If you think he's going to like magically improve this season, he isn't. He isn't a bad quarterback. He isn't a great quarterback. He's a middle of the pack, ordinary quarterback. He isn't Josh Allen. He isn't Pat Mahomes. And he's not Lamar Jackson. And he never will be. That doesn't mean he's bad, though. Yes, if the offensive line was better, he would be better. You can say that about every quarterback in the league. It's not just about him. And the bad offensive line that he's had at times in years 1 through 5 is not the reason he hasn't reached his ceiling. I think he has reached his ceiling, and we've seen the best of Tua, and this is who he is. Again, not bad. And if you take it that way, that's on you. But he's just a middle of the pack quarterback, and all of his injuries have not been because of the offensive line. It's because he won't slide. It's because he holds onto the ball too long, or he just takes ordinary hits that his frame and his body can't sustain. But the constant bickering amongst Tua, oh my God, it never ends with his fan base. It's kind of boring. It's played out, and it's become downright stupid on some levels. He's not a generational quarterback. He's not a special quarterback. Is he the best quarterback Miami's had since Marino? Yes. So what? That just shows you that from when Marino retired in 99, 2000 till 2020, they couldn't find one. So, okay, he's the best quarterback we've had since Marino. Who cares? But enough with this arguing. Okay, some people, you got one segment of fans that want to make him out like a top 5 quarterback of this era. He's not. You got the other segment of fans who says he totally sucks. He doesn't. The truth is right there in the middle. He's average. And there's nothing wrong with average. Don't put him on a pedestal. He ain't that guy. He just accept that you have an average quarterback in Miami, and average is okay. And if you take average as a knock on Tua, that's a you problem, because that's just reality. And I said my piece.
I feel good.
Am I wrong?
I feel good.
Yeah, I feel great.
No, I don't think you're wrong at all. I think the thing with Tua and why people still talk about him is because he has these little pieces about him that do make him stand out from other quarterbacks. These little things that I think we cling on to, of the fact that he can get the ball out in 2.3 seconds, the fact that he's able to anticipate where his players are going to be. People, I think, take those and they really hold them, and they want them to have such powerful weight. And so when you have these distinctions that maybe the other quarterbacks you mentioned don't have, then it's like this back and forth. But at the end of the day, I mean, he was given a $212 million extension, right? And so the guy hasn't been able to show us that he can win us a playoff game or play in cold weather games. And so the injury bug is, of course, always going to bring things up. If he didn't have all these injuries, would it be a topic of conversation? I don't know. But the guy can't seem to stay healthy, missed 6 games last season. So he's going to be a topic of conversation, because it becomes, if someone's injury prone, how long do you hold on to them before you're every year it's going to be the same thing? Do we just keep doing this and keep doing this? Now, to his credit, like you said, if we had better O-line protection, maybe, we saw every one of our backup quarterbacks go down last year. So clearly, protection is an issue.
It helps.
Yeah. What?
It helps.
Yeah. But I just until Tua puts a bunch of W's in the win column for us in high pressure games, high stake games against high caliber teams, I think Dolphin fans are going to continue to just go back and forth of this. He is, he isn't, but he can throw this ball and he's got this speed and he's great at reading, and he's a left-handed quarterback and all this stuff. And it's just and it's not just Dolphin fans. ESPN, NFL Network. He is a hot top. Everybody wants to talk. I have not heard more conversation about a quarterback than Tua. It's crazy. And so I think something's going to have to shift. Either he's going to have to this season become the quarterback that those, rallying around him believe he is, or the conversation's going to die out because it's going to be shown that this is not the guy. And I think this is the season that's all going to come to a head.
Yeah. Realistically, can they move on from him after this year? They can. It's easier after 2026 season to do it. And so I honestly think he's here this year and next year. And if nothing really changes, if the team doesn't win, that's what will happen. So he's probably here for this year and next year. We'll see. Obviously a lot changes if they actually win games, but I think that's probably the reality that we're looking at. But here's the reality. Taking away it's like talking politics. Take away the extremes, and most normal people are like in the middle. He's a good quarterback. And some fans, good's not good enough to where they have to say he sucks, which is not true. Or he's like the greatest thing ever, which is not true. He's just good. And it's okay to just be good. Like everyone can't be the best.
Yeah.
Okay? Everyone can't be the best. And guys like Josh Allen, guys like Pat Mahomes, guys like Lamar Jackson, I'm sure there's probably, Rodgers in his prime, not now, like in his prime. Like those guys were the best of their time. Not everyone can be that. And I think with Tua, again, good quarterback. I had on Malik Washington Friday. If you didn't see it, like he
that was a great interview, by the way. I loved him. He was fantastic.
Oh, him, yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
You guys had good, no, you guys had good, both of you.
yeah, because I don't want to put a guy in a spot, and you want to get the most out of him. So I'm going to ask interesting questions to get the most out of him without making him feel like he's under the, like I could say, how come the culture sucks? Like, what's he going to say? It's like, now you're going to put him off to where he's going to shut down and not give good answers. Where I can ask a question about the culture. Hey, there's been a lot of talk about the culture changing. What do you see? Now he can be like, oh, here's what I see. And he can open up an answer and go any way he wants. So, yeah, and plus, so I liked it a lot, that interview, but I'm one half of it. But he was great. he was outstanding.
Yeah.
He really was. Because I've done a lot of them, and you get some guys, whether current or ex-athletes, they give you nothing. And it's like you've done enough of them now.
Yeah.
You're pulling teeth.
Yeah.
Then you get some guys who they are just open, honest, and they say, they might not say everything because they can't, which I get. We're not stupid. But they give you enough to where, like, this is good insight coming from a guy who's there. And I thought when I asked him about McDaniel and Tua specifically, he gave great answers in that he said stuff like, look, I'm there. And with the head coach, some head coaches, you're apprehensive to go up to them and ask them stuff. With Mike, I feel totally comfortable walking upstairs, walking in his office, asking him a question. That's good. That's one of the positives to Mike McDaniel. Right. He can relate to his players. And he gave an example, Malik, of that. And then when talking about the quarterback, too, he goes, look, if that ball is going to be there, with him at least, 9 times out of 10 it's there. So, he gave very good answers, and he didn't have to go in that level of detail, but he did with examples, which tells you, there's some positivity there that they love him. So, and again, he's not bad. Some fans hear what I say and they go, oh, you hate him. No, I don't hate him. I'm just saying he's not the greatest. And I think, some fans often just put him on this pedestal, throw flowers, like Tua threw 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Say, good, he played the worst team in the league. That's what I expect from a guy making $212 million. Like, I'm not going to give him credit for that. It's like, I don't know. It's weird, but stop arguing about him. He's here for this year. He's probably here for the year after. Then you can argue all you want. But every argument that happens now is kind of dumb because he's a quarterback. Whether you like it or you don't like it, you got to learn to live with it, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Last topic, last question. We'll keep this short and sweet.
Yeah.
What's your expectations going into this year, Marissa? You think this team can get a wild card spot? I mean, I'm not going to say, because I don't want people laughing, they can pass the Bills because we never beat them. But can you think this team can get a wild card spot if things break right? What has to break right? Just what are your expectations? We're in June. I don't know when I'm going to have you on again. I know you're going to do some stuff with us here in the next few weeks. But I don't know, next time we're both going to be on together, I should say. What are your thoughts here as we move into training camp and into the summer months?
So some people aren't going to love this.
But okay.
I need to speak from my heart, and I need to tell y'all the truth. I do not see us making a wild card spot this year. And this is the first year in quite a few years that I've said that. So this is not me being negative Nancy, because I'm just going to tell you how I think it is. Even though their schedule is fairly easy, comparatively speaking, I just don't know that they've filled enough of the gaps on the team at this point. Now, if that happens in the next coming weeks, I might have a different opinion. But also for me, there's so much to pay attention to with this locker room and injuries. Like Waddle and Hill, what are they going to look like this year? If they are healthy, maybe that changes things. But like this last year and the year, there have been injury issues. We know we've had the injury bug. So, if Tua goes down, that's another thing. Like, can one of these backups really take us and extend us to get a playoff? There's so many things that are like variables that need to happen that just haven't happened yet that make me want to say, no, I don't think this is the team that's going to make it to a wild card. But as a fan, from a fan perspective, hell yeah, they're going to the wild card. They're winning, and they're taking it all the way to the Super Bowl, baby. But realistically, that's just not what I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if we weren't going to trade Jonnu, and we are trading him, folks.
Which, by the way, I am like the biggest. I'm so against. But yes, continue.
Here's the deal. If they would have traded him prior to the draft and got a pick in last year's draft, so they could replace him in last year's draft, I probably would have been like, okay, I get it, because he is old and he probably wants a raise, and okay. But the fact we're going to do it in June or July, there's no chance of replacing his 88 receptions, 884 yards, and 8 touchdowns, or something like that it was. That's just idiotic. That's just idiotic. I mean, that's just really idiotic. That's just makes no sense. But
and didn't you do an interview recently with Frank the Tank from Barstool Sports? And
yes, Frank was
talked about who you think they should have picked at spot 13
Tyler
if they
Warren.
knew they were getting rid of Jonnu.
Yeah, that's why. Like, nothing against Grant. Grant's great. I hope he's going to be fantastic. But Tyler Warren can be a very special tight end. We could have took, Tyler Warren there, round 2, take a Savanea, or maybe you don't trade up for Savanea. You take a lineman or like an offensive guard too. Then you still have picks in rounds 3 and 4, and you can, maybe they could have had a more well-rounded team. Possibly, it all depends. Everyone's got their own opinion, obviously, but there is another way to build the team, and they could have got like an all-world tight end maybe at 13, whatever. It didn't happen, but it's an offensive league, and if you have a very good offense, I don't care what you have on defense, you can win games. I don't know if the offensive line's improved. I have a tendency to think it won't be improved, but I have a tendency to think also we're not going to have the injuries that we've had in years past, because without Armstead and Paul, because I don't think Paul's going to get hurt like every other week. I think Paul, he's not going to be as good as Armstead, but if he's out there every week, you have consistency. It's where at least you know what's out there. Austin Jackson has to stay healthy. He's the only player who gets hurt more than a quarterback. If Austin Jackson stays healthy, if Paul is just average at center, we know what we got with Aaron Brewer. If the rookie Savanea can just be good, not even great as a rookie, just be good. And if James Daniels is healthy, which again is a huge question mark coming off an Achilles, I don't care what they say about his injury. I want to see him, because they lied to us about Odell Beckham. They lied to us about Isaiah Wynn last year. So if they say he'll be fine by training camp, I don't believe them. Call me crazy. If he's healthy, the offensive line can be good enough. If the offensive line is good enough, and you got a Hill who's motivated, you got Waddle, the running back room I like. Obviously, we have a good quarterback, like I just said. Losing Jonnu, though, to me is kind of a killer. If we had Jonnu, I could say, you know what? We can score if we can find our mojo on offense that we had 2022, 2023, we didn't have last year. We could score 24, 27, 30 points a game, maybe outscore some teams, even if we suck on defense, and just outscore teams to win 8 or 9 games. I can buy that. But we lose Jonnu. That's a big part of the offense in the passing game. And now we have no secondary, and you got Zach Sealer and a bunch of rookies. Getting 8, 9, 10 wins, it might be tougher. And again, I know Jonnu Smith had one good year in his whole career. I get it, but it was with us and it was last year. So I was kind of hoping he'd build off that. Have a similar year this year. And when you take him out of the mix, folks, Julian Hill ain't going to be that guy. Pharaoh Brown is a blocker only. Tanner Connor, he's a great 3rd or 4th tight end. For some teams, he wouldn't even be on their team. That's a tough one. So
will they or won't they, Mike? I need a final answer from you.
No, they won't make the playoffs.
Okay.
No. It's unfortunate. Look, as I said, as we were just talking about our age prior to us recording, I ain't getting any younger. I want to see his team win before I die. Okay. Just win me something.
Mike's writing himself off already.
Yes. Let's but I don't think this is the year. We'll see. Yes, and I know we got people in our chat, and Frank the Tank as well, and myself. Liam Meikenberg is back.
Yeah.
And it just, again.
I mean, thank goodness we re-signed him. I mean, I don't know what this team would be like without him.
It's a house of cards. Without him, we really suck. It's just, but as I've said too, which you might have missed this because I know you went on a little bit of a social media hiatus there.
I 100% did.
So the week I have a video I'm going to send you to because I put one together. So like a Sunday night, I was doing a show with Tom. I go, if the Dolphins sign Liam Eichenberg, I'm shutting down this website. I'm done. There's no way they can re-sign this guy. I've had enough. Do I even have this video? I might even upload. I don't know if I do or not. Here.
I did not see that, by the way. And your
Okay.
site is still up, so I'm
No,
very
hold on.
curious.
Because then I come back. So then they sign him on like a Tuesday or Wednesday. And then I did a show that week with Dudley Durong. And I said, look, here's the deal. I'm not going to shut it down now. I'm going to give them a chance to cut him in training camp. They cut him in training camp, then we're still good. But it's like, that was pretty much it. But it's like, I'm not shutting it down. But the point is, like, why did they re-sign him? And why did he want to come back, too? Because, I don't know. But, yeah, so expectations. As I've been saying all offseason, the vibes are low around the Dolphins. Not good vibes right now with the fan base, with the team. If they go out there and start 3-0, which would mean a win over the Bills, the vibes are going to go through the roof, sky high. But right now, I think it's safe to agree we got low vibes. Yeah. Low energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I agree. Yeah. I'm here for it. I am ready to be proven wrong.
Me too. I love to be proven wrong.
I would love for the fans that say we're negative to come back and be like, I told y'all so. And I'll be like, yes, you did. I will bow down to you. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, Marissa, it was nice having you back on with us here today. Thank you. And be on the lookout for her. She's going to be doing some more stuff with us off and on, not consistently every week or anything, but she's going to be popping in here and out, maybe as if someone's out sick or, Tom's got kids. If one of his two children are sick, she can pop on with me one night, and she's going to be doing some other special projects with us.
Yeah, or if I just really missed you guys and I just need to say hello.
And plus, you're in the intro video. You can't leave now. Once you make that, okay. No, but seriously, thank you for being on. Follow Marissa on Twitter X at mustbemarissa87. Only one S in there. Follow
good for you.
Yes, I know. Well, because it's right on the screen, so I just read it off the screen. And also follow me on all social medias. Look at this guy. This guy, I should send him a shirt. Mike, Mike, you are the best Miami Dolphins content creator by far. Mike, you're a smart man and a good American. We got Jordan saying, welcome back, Marissa.
Oh, I like what Moss Sports World said.
Like that too. Must be Marino.
Must be Marino. Why do I have must be Marissa? That was a poor choice of mine.
We have to do I don't know, you got to put up 1 or 2 minute hot takes on our YouTube. We'll call them Must Be Marino.
I know everybody knows me as Must Be Marissa, but Must Be Marino. I mean,
you got to welcome back, Mama.
Into marketing or something, because
we are going to trademark that, and we're going to market that, and we're going to find a sponsor for that, and we're going to do something with Must Be Marino. I don't know. We're getting a lot of positive comments today. See, people love us.
Someone said they liked my new haircut. I mean, y'all.
Yes, it is a nice
girl needs a pickup. I'm just going to come on the channel.
On the channel, for sure. You guys, you're welcome. Yeah, everyone's being nice today. And it's Father's Day. Again, if you haven't called your father yet, call up good old dad and wish him a happy Father's Day. Fathers are the best. And yeah, we'll be back. Check out the website as well, DolphinsTalk.com for all latest. Everyone have a great Sunday. We'll talk to you again after a while. And folks, don't forget, we must put an end to highway profanity.